right, we're live.
Hello.
We've brought back Scottcast. So this is the show that I've been doing kind of sporadically. I haven't done this in a second, but and then somebody else. There's another podcast called Scottcast.
Oh no.
But it's where one team. I think they have like way more views or way more subscribers.
Oh
or
my
something
goodness.
like that. But I'm sticking with this.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm here with. I'm very excited about our guest today. This is Chloe Feoranzo.
Hello.
And what she does is just amazing. You know, she's just carrying the tradition of like all this New Orleans jazz and this great music. And she's an amazing clarinetist, singer, songwriter. Do you write songs?
Not really.
Okay, all right. I lied a little bit, but yeah, Chloe's just amazing. And her mom brought amazing vegan cookies. And it was like that was like the first shoot that you did with us when we did No Surprises.
we did.
And she showed up and she brought cookies and she was so sweet.
Yeah, she owns her own bakery, so anytime she gets to like bring treats to my things, she likes to do that, and it's really lovely. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's great. I mean, you know, it's when I mean, I always say that it's all community, right? When you're a musician, like it's like all the people that you work with and all the fans, they always want to find some way to contribute. So sometimes, you know, having your mom bring some baked goods and everything, that's supporting.
Oh,
it's awesome
I mean, she supports in many ways, but I love it. She loves to, feed people. So
yeah. So we're about to work on a new video.
Yay.
And I'm really excited about that.
I'm excited too.
This is
gonna be really fun.
So we've done some brainstorming about this one, and it's gonna be awesome. But we're not gonna tell you what it is, so we won't tell the people at home. But I figure, why don't we give them a song? Let's. You know, what are you thinking? What you just came from New Orleans, so I don't know.
We can do a New Orleans song. We can do a standard. Or we could do, I don't know.
Sure. Okay. Well, how about
see.
this? How about one of your go-tos? Like, what's one of your go-to standards that you like?
One of them. Do you know China Boy?
I don't think I know that one.
Yeah. That one's a pretty standard.
Okay.
Just in the Dixie world, not necessarily New Orleans. For New Orleans, like Bourbon Street Parade.
All right, we can do that one. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. What key do you do that?
A flat.
A flat. All right. Are there words to it too?
Not in this key though.
Okay, yeah. All right, Bourbon Street Parade. We're gonna go to New Orleans. You want to take you'll take the intro cadenza?
Yeah. Okay.
That's Chloe Feoranzo and Bourbon Street Parade.
Bourbon Street.
That was fun. So, I was just thinking while we were playing, that you just got off tour with Gunhild Carlin, of course.
I did, yes.
Who's, another New Orleans musician by way of Sweden.
Yes. Absolutely.
Her soul
oh,
is
yeah.
definitely New Orleans.
She's definitely New Orleans.
So that's kind of cool because that's actually how I got to know you, how I met you.
Yeah.
It was
at her
Christian,
video.
right?
Yeah. So
works with Gunhild.
we share a promoter in Argentina. He's brought both me and her separately to Argentina, which is amazing.
That's awesome.
In the first place, absolutely beautiful. He's a great person. But yeah, I think he was showing you my video. He was showing you my videos while you were filming.
Yeah,
I think,
no,
right?
We were doing,
it was like
when we did "Never Gonna Give You Up."
Oh, okay, yeah.
We were. That was amazing. So Gunhild's running around and she's doing all these things. She's playing everything. She's playing bagpipes. She's playing all this stuff. And Christian was there. He was like, "Hey, you got to hear this girl. You got to check it out." And I was like, "Well, she's amazing. Like, where are you finding all this?" So did you meet Gunhild in South America?
No, so I actually met her in Korea.
Wow. Okay.
So we were doing separately again. She just happened to be at a same swing dance festival that I was playing at with a band called Michelle Lake, and it was a last minute call too. It was like the month before. She's like, "Hey, last minute Phil, can you come over to Korea for a weekend?" I'm like, yes.
Wow.
Yes, I can. And it was great. It was so much fun. It was my first time seeing her live because I've seen her I've seen her videos. She's incredible, obviously. And I was like, I'm never going to meet this woman, but this is great. And I just like all of a sudden, like South Korea swing dance in Busan happens, and I got to play with her and Mishia, who are both like these really powerful, strong personalities on the same stage together, and it was just so much fun.
That's
it
awesome.
was so much fun. So
she's
yeah,
a force of nature.
she is, and in such a great way too. So
absolutely.
yeah.
When I saw that video, I saw that that video that's online. It's her playing like 20 different instruments.
Yeah.
And then there's like just all this stuff in the background. Like I don't know what it's from. I don't know what kind of live special it was, but there's like just a bunch of dudes just standing there in tuxedos, and she's playing like bagpipe. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's that video.
Oh yeah, because it's so she does at least pretty much every year she like brings an orchestra around Sweden.
Yeah.
And like has someone like she does arrangements and all like. She just
like
brings a 36-person orchestra just around Sweden every winter.
Yeah, no, it's.
For anybody who's ever tried to book a tour, just imagine that, because that was I can't
it's crazy. Like she had dancers, she had strings, she arranged all that stuff herself. Like
she did.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I saw that video. And then I put it on Facebook. I was like, all right, who knows this? Like, how do I get in touch with this person?
Yeah.
And then she wrote to me on Facebook.
Oh, great.
I was like, hello, it is me, or something like that. And I was like, you're amazing. I've never seen anybody that plays like this, blah, blah, blah. We got this thing. I got this project, Postmodern Jukebox. And like, we take, modern day songs. I was like explaining, getting into a lot of detail of it. And I'd love to have you as our guest when we play Copenhagen. I know that's kind of close to where you are in Sweden. And then she just wrote back, yes. And that was it. And then she showed up at soundcheck playing bagpipes, and that was it. Just stole the show.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
But I want to get back to you. I can always talk about Gunhild all day.
I mean, obviously, because she's just force of nature.
What you do on clarinet is so uncommon.
Thanks.
You think of how many people grew up and played clarinet in marching band or something like that. It's an incredibly difficult instrument to master, and you've elevated it to such a high level. And I'm just curious, did you go through a phase where you didn't like playing the clarinet, or you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's still phases where I don't like playing the clarinet.
Yeah, but you definitely, you stuck with it so much. Like you got so good at it.
Thank you. Wow. Okay. So I actually started on saxophone.
Okay.
And I still play that. But I started on saxophone, and my middle school band director needed an extra clarinet. I'm like, hey, why not? Sure. And then I just kind of delved into this classical role in clarinet. And because it was so much harder than the saxophone, I just ended up spending a lot more time on it. And really, because there's a lot of people who it's a really hard instrument to make it sound like a saxophone player not playing clarinet instead of it's hard to make it sound just like a clarinet instead of and everybody has their own approach to it, of course, but I really wanted to kind of differentiate the two. I really wanted to try and make sure I could play the saxophone like a saxophone and play the clarinet like a clarinet. And so I just ended up spending a lot more hours and time and tears and blood and sweat on this instrument.
I want to see like the training montage.
It's just me in a practice room. I mean, it's not really exciting.
Right. What's like that movie Whiplash, right?
Yes,
where he's
exactly.
Which is that, guys, I don't recommend that. That's also, a bad way to learn an instrument.
Absolutely not how you learn. Like, that's not jazz band.
Yeah,
at least that's not. That's not.
Yeah, if you go to school for jazz, your teacher's probably not going to be abusive like that.
Hopefully, I feel like they should be fired if they are.
Yeah.
But it is intense, but it's not that intense. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, but I spent a lot of my background in classical for this instrument, not so much for saxophone, but for this instrument and I really actually never wanted to do jazz clarinet because I knew it was going to be really hard. And I was right, because just going from this transition from classical to jazz is difficult. But going from a transition from classical to jazz on this thing, because the hard part is that the octave key, this thing is not an actual octave key, it's a 12. So when you play a C and you press that, it's a G, and so you're just in a different
so saxophone has
key.
An octave key.
Yeah, when you play.
So if you play something, you can play.
Exactly, and it's the same, and like that is similar. Like it's the same, like the keys are the same. Yeah, this it's not like it's just 4 different like fingering systems that you have to kind of think about for each register, and it was a challenge. But my mentor, his name was Ron Hockett, and he was part of a band called the Jim Cullum Jazz Band in San Antonio. And he was a huge influence on my jazz clarinet. I've had many mentors, but like he was for jazz clarinet. He's the one who really pushed me. He's like, no, you really need to do this. Like it's definitely something you should do. It's not very common. So like a lot of people, having that as a benefit is always good. And I was just like, oh, fine.
Yeah. Well, what I think is so great though is that and to your point about how you didn't want to sound like a saxophone player that plays clarinet. I mean, because that's a natural thing, right? Most people play saxophone. There's tons of saxophone players, but when you listen to you, it's clear that you're a clarinet player.
Yeah,
it's clear that you know how to articulate things and make it sing in a way.
Thank you.
That you have to really master the instrument to do it.
You just spent a lot of hours on it.
Yeah, well, no, totally. But I mean, you think of it, it was kind of like it kind of had fallen out of favor in a second, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It used to be back in the 1920s, right? You got Johnny Dodge.
So I grew up with the school system. I mean, mine was a little bit different because it was an art school, but for like a lot of the jazz programs in and around it, like they just tell you that clarinet isn't part of jazz band, which is a complete lie.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you say that, you're just disregarding half of jazz history. Yeah. So I don't know where it just began to fall out of favor. Probably people just don't want to play it anymore. It's like, screw this.
Maybe.
Which I don't blame them, really. Like, but yeah, it's really interesting that is the mindset now, because also like in the more contemporary styles, they don't always write for like in the sax section, the doubling now is more soprano and saxophone rather than clarinet and saxophone. In the more modern pieces and stuff, like you'll see flute or soprano, but you won't really see, because a lot of people don't want to mess with this thing. And like, so composers don't, not everybody, like of course there's like bass clarinet, random avant-garde pieces, or like, like adding in different, if you're thinking of like a modern jazz, like symphony thing, like it's different. But for the most part, like somewhere around the late 40s, early 50s, it just kind of started
it's kind of like after
going out. Like once he started just going over the wayside, and it was just...
Yeah. And, but I mean, you can think of so many people that I guess, were you into Sidney Bechet?
He wasn't my main. Yeah. I really liked a man called Peanuts Hucko, which is not as well known, but he just had a really beautiful way of phrasing, and his tone was beautiful. Yeah. And I think for me, the most important thing about clarinet is tone, because it just can sound like a squealing pig if you don't. So I spent...
Kids.
Not everybody like that, but like it's just like, I mean, everybody who's ever begun clarinet will know how it just is like it's just awful, and you just sound awful. It's like playing it for like at least the first 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I I tried picking it up.
Yeah.
One time when I was a kid, and it just, oh man, so many squeaking, and just like, you know, it's like one of those just like violin.
Yes.
I feel like you got to play it at 7 years to sound even
remotely okay.
pleasant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I spent a lot of time on that, and like in classical, they kind of breathe that into you too, like, oh yeah, tone.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of pieces, like, it's more about like with the symphony or something, not so much a standalone instrument always. And so Peanuts was a big influence, but also like Johnny Dodds, and I really like Artie Shaw, and a lot of the like Buddy DeFranco, like all the old people that you don't really hear names about anymore. Everybody knows Benny Goodman, but like I like a lot of the other stuff too.
Totally. Well, let's do another song. Let's and let's do one. Is there one that is very associated with clarinet that I might know?
Oh, do you know C2 Va Ma Mère?
I don't know.
It's okay.
Okay.
No, it's a. Hold on, I'm trying to think of another like Sidney Bechet one. There's Egyptian Fantasy.
I'm trying to think.
Or Man on the Shore.
I would, these ones are so easy to learn that I would pull.
Yeah, you would totally do
YouTube,
it. Yeah, it's okay.
No. Off of YouTube.
Yeah. I'm just thinking also specifically clarinet. Like not everybody knows specifically clarinet.
I should have rephrased my question.
Rose Room.
And
do you know Rose Room?
Yeah, that's the same as.
Yeah. So basically that, but same changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's.
It's a little bit slow. That's an A flat again. This is a Benny Goodman hit.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you the intro from the other one.
Okay, cool.
Nice. That was up. So that was Rose Room, which is, if you're an Ellington fan, it's kind of the same changes as an mellow-tone. Yeah, it's a nice melody too.
So it was actually a funny, silly story. So last night I was playing in New Orleans, and someone for their birthday song requested "In a Sentimental Mood," and I was thinking it was actually in a mellow tone. So I'm like, yeah, I know that song. I'm like, oh wait, In a Sentimental Mood. Haven't played that since,
It's a jazz school favorite.
It's a jazz school favorite, yeah. It's beautiful. It's just a beautiful song. But I'm like, oh yeah, in a mellow tone. Yeah. Oh nope, no, different song.
That's funny. And I just love the tone that you get on that too. Like you got that crystal clear A flat right there at the top. That's amazing. I'm curious how, because you're a singer as well, and how what you take from clarinet when you apply it to singing, and vice versa. Like, do you find that because you have almost like such a melodic way of phrasing things that it's almost like you're singing. Like it feels like you're singing through the instrument.
So I actually grew up listening more to singers and vocalists, but I really didn't start singing a lot really until I moved to New Orleans. I sang like bits in here, but when I was touring in other groups, I really didn't sing very much. And I took some lessons in college, but I really didn't start until I got to New Orleans, because basically everybody sings. And especially if you're like a woman instrumentalist, they kind of just assume that you do anyway. And
the flower in there.
It's a whole it's a whole thing. So I really didn't start delving too far into it until I got into New Orleans, and like my voice is definitely something that I view as my third instrument. Like it's not like I'm definitely not most prolific on my vocals. So I kind of take I can't really bridge the two of them yet, because I can't like do this with this quite yet. But I do like try and think of lyrics and stuff while I play. And I try and think of like more interesting phrasing while I sing. So like, because at least I have the musician ear of hearing something else besides the melody while I sing, and I can't always make it happen, but like I'll try, you know.
Well,
or like
what people really appreciate is that you have an authenticity about you when you're interpreting lyrics and when you're singing. Like the moment when on tour when you do No Surprises.
Yeah.
PMJ and it's great. I mean, it's a nice moment where you'll just come out like you're sneaking away from the side. You're in the back.
Yeah.
With usually like Finzer, who's like 10 feet tall, and you're sneaking, and then you're like lowering the microphone to sing, and then out of nowhere you start singing, and everybody's like, "Oh,
it's like
whoa!"
Yeah.
We had no idea that you could sing like that, and you knew you had this very pure kind of sound and pure tone that it commands a lot of attention. So, I would say that, don't sell yourself short on that, because it definitely commands it. Well, actually, let's do that song. Let's do No Surprises.
Okay.
Actually, I haven't played this one with you since we did the video, probably.
I think so. Oh, wait.
D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A heart that's full up like a landfill, a job that slowly kills you, bruises that won't heal. Oh, you look so tired, unhappy. Bring down the government, they don't speak for us. Yes, I'll take a quiet life, a handshake of carbon monoxide, no alarms and no surprises, no alarms and no surprises, no alarms and no surprises silence, oh This is my final fear, my final bellyache, with no alarms and no surprises. No alarms and no surprises. No alarms and no surprises, please. Oh, no surprises, please. No surprises,
All right, Chloe Feoranzo. That was beautiful. Singing No Surprises. That's the version that we did.
yeah.
Postmodern Jukebox.
It's something one I never get tired of. It's just such a pretty song in general.
It's a beautiful, depressing song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. I love the sad ones.
Yeah. Was that an album that OK Computer? Was that one that was like one of your favorites?
I actually really hadn't listened to a lot of Radiohead before we did it. But it was, I know. But now, I mean, like, also since being on tour and stuff, like, Greg likes to put on Radiohead a lot and stuff, and it's great on the tour bus. Greg's one of the amazing tour managers, part of PMJ, and he'll put on, like, Radiohead and things. It's actually, so my favorite part about doing it is that a lot of times it's the crew's favorite song in the show, like not like our crew, but like whenever we're in theater, like, oh my god, Radiohead, because it's Radiohead, totally. And like, oh, that's awesome, and it's really like I think it's really sweet whenever they say that, and
well, it's definitely like unexpected, and I think it's unexpected also from you as well. Like there's something that I love the contrast of that.
Thanks.
I loved when we got to do that video. And having it on tour is just, it steals the show so many times. Actually, I'd like to hear like some of your favorite road stories. Like, do you have a good one from?
Oh my goodness!
At this point, you've been on
I've been on many. I mean, from PMJ or just anything in particular. PMJ related. Oh gosh, I was not expecting this question. There's just a lot. There's a lot that I'm trying. Well, so. I'll just say that one of my favorite parts about PMJ Tour is the cast and the crew, like, as a whole. And so we'll just do like these big family dinners, like every tour, like, like at the end of Brazil tour, or like stuff where you just like
at Thanksgiving we did at the house.
Yes, I saw that. Was so cute. It was so cute. So like a lot of times we'll just go and tear up a restaurant, like. And it's really funny because it's just 16 of us all of a sudden in a restaurant, which
and these are not like docile personalities at all. These are some big personalities.
Yeah, there's one time we all went to see Black Panther together, and we were in this little town in England. It was like nighttime, and we were just the loudest people in the movie theater. It was just great. It was just great because it was so much fun. But like we kind of formed this kind of instant little family every time that you're on tour, and that's just such a great thing to have, like, to be able to click like that. So with that comes a lot of crazy stories and crazy like late night bus adventures. And there was one like recently, one time. So the bus, it looked like it was packed. Dirt. It looked like it was fine, but then when we got there, when the bus tried to turn around, it just sunk into the dirt. The bus just sunk into the dirt, and so we were just, And luckily it was like after the last show and it was fine, but it just sunk in there. And so all of us were kind of awake, like, oh, what's going on? And so we just kind of had like a late night, like waiting for, it was like 2 a.m. and we're just like waiting for this person to come and pull out the bus.
This is a tour
This
story.
is absolutely tour story.
Absolutely.
So like we're all just like partying, like, you know, all kind of just hanging out and like chatting and partying and stuff. And then the biggest wrecker I've ever seen just comes and like with like flashing lights, and so all of us are just piling out of the bus to like, and it's like cold, and we're just like 2 a.m. just like filming the bus like come out, and like the wrecker come lug the bus out of the dirt.
I think I saw this video.
I think you have, yeah. I mean, like, it was definitely, everybody was.
I was just like, oh no, what's going on over there?
It's also like, you know, it was like the last show, we were like, okay, we're going to go home, it's fine. And then, of course, like 2 a.m., like the bus isn't moving. Why isn't the bus moving? And so the bus is pulled out by like an equally large, I don't know if you've ever seen, it's like the biggest tow truck I've ever seen in my life, because they have to do something that's equally as large as the bus.
Right, yeah, I guess so.
So, yeah, it has to be just as big. And so it just comes in, we're just like, what is this thing? And so he does it like really quickly, but just like we were also in the middle of I think we were in Pennsylvania, so like it was just not really anywhere near a big city in Pennsylvania, so
That's
it took
Pennsylvania. I grew up near Pennsylvania. Yeah.
So it took like an hour for it just to come out, because it was, you know, really late, and there was, you know, only so many people on call, especially with that big of a thing. And once the bus pulled out, I was able to fit myself in the hole that the bus had sunk into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
I was able to fit myself all the way in to the like the impact that the wheel was in. That's how deep the bus had sunk
That's
into
crazy.
the thing.
That's nuts.
And that's like one of the more tamer tour stories for sure.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's so fun. You know, I just love whenever I see like who's going to be on the tour, and just like imagining ahead of time, like, oh man, this group's going to be funny. This is gonna be,
Oh yeah, there's some. I mean, yeah, there was I went on a December tour in France with a lot of people, and that was a great crew. We, especially the girls, like we clicked really hard. And so, but what was great about that tour was that in Europe during December time is there these little Christmas towns everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So it was basically just a tour of little Christmas towns, and it was fantastic.
I mean, you know, if you come from a household where, you know, cookies and things like that are made, I mean, I'd imagine.
I mean, you know, like it was that, and like we got to go to Prague that trip, and I never been to Prague, and there was like
Prague.
giant Christmas market, and we were just, and like we had to fly up the night before, because it was a private party thing, so we had to fly up the night before, and we just all went out and we did like a ghost tour, because Gotti got everybody to get everybody, and it was just like a really amazing. Like we actually learned a lot about the history of Prague, and we just ate like giant sausages and this like really delicious like Christmas time only dessert, and like just going around at nighttime in Prague in December, like it was just magical. So
so there you go. If you guys are having a holiday party, invite Chloe.
Yes, please.
She's the one.
I am definitely the one.
She will. You know,
I will bake. I will come dress exactly. I have brought my Christmas dress on tour many times.
Okay.
Yeah, during that tour, I have a Winter Wonderland dress that I bust out for December tours. If
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's fun.
So I'm kind of curious, like taking it all the way back, like your mom, you know, she runs a community and things like that. Now, was music always in your house? Was it?
So yeah, my mom always really like, she was never really into mainstream music anyway. So we always had, like, from an early age, I always had like Billie Holiday in the house, Louis Armstrong, and like Casey and the Sunshine Band, and like all these like really great bands. And she just had CDs because she just really liked it. And my parents also took swing dance lessons when I was like 9.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And instead of leaving me at home with the babysitter, they just take me to the class. And so I was supposed to be doing homework in the corner, but I just watch everybody dance instead and like learn the steps that way.
You can't do homework.
Exactly. When like especially when there's like, and I also was hearing the music.
Your mom was up. She was like, she's not gonna do her homework. She's gonna learn some dance.
And it was great. Like, and I still see some of those people today, like that taught me when I was like a kid, like flipping me over the back and like teaching me how to do a lot of those moves today. Like I still see some of those people, and it's just really nice. But like, just I grew up like with that, so I grew up like going to swing dance events and going to. Not like big events, but like going to the local scene because I grew up in San Diego, and so going to the San Diego scene and like hearing, was it Big Bad Voodoo Daddy and like all these like live swing bands, and so like some of my earliest sit-ins were swing bands because that was what I was around, and like they danced for a long time. They were never like professional or anything, but they just did it socially, and it was fun for them, and it was fun for me, and like it was it turned into a nice family thing.
That's great. So you didn't really rebel against your the music taste of your parents.
No, I really liked it. Like we loved Louis Prima, so
that's cool.
We listened to that a lot. Like we listened to him a lot. Like for one Christmas, they gave me a Louis Prima album.
Okay.
And I like don't mind. Like also, I did love like NSYNC and Britney Spears. Like that was also it was just a product of childhood.
Of course, in the 90s and
exactly, Justin Timberlake, all this stuff. But I also had that like around, like because she would just listen to stuff, and she always like she was a huge supporter in just like getting me to do music, and like she just drove me everywhere, and she was just like she was there. She supported a lot, which is amazing. With parents, it's either hit or miss for an arts thing.
I guess what you want to do as a parent, right? You want to be able to expose them to things and let them choose on their own. Like, well, are you into this kind of thing? Like if it's jazz music or dancing or something like that.
But it's also hard to hear, like for your kid to be like, yeah, I want to be a musician. Like not everybody reacts to that amazingly. So I got pretty lucky. But so like a lot of times it can be because of a rebellious act, or someone just has a really nice support system, and I got the really nice support system.
Well,
so
I think, people don't really necessarily think about like how many things have to go right to become a professional musician. A lot of things.
A lot of chance.
Starting from those early experiences, for sure.
Yes,
because,
absolutely.
It's like anything else. It's if you from an early age you were exposed to this, and you've grown up, and you've the vocabulary, the language, of jazz, and just swing and all that stuff. It's a lot easier than being like 16 or 17 or something like that, and then all of a sudden being like,
this is really cool, but I have to do this.
That have been doing this for years,
Yeah, I mean, all I remember like is unless someone tells you to go out and like sit in and go out and go to jam sessions, like people just don't think about it. Like they'll jam with friends, but like in order to really put your face out there, just to really, you just have to keep going out to things and ask to sit in.
Just for the practical experience that
exactly.
practicing is so different than performing.
It is, and it's good to do both. Like there's a practice in the room, and there's also practice on stage. Like you'll learn stuff a lot more quickly, like what goes right and what goes wrong when you're facing a room full of people that are there. Exactly. And sometimes, which is one of the reasons why the classical world for me wasn't as great, because we spent so much time, and for some people it's really like what they need to like do it over and over and over and over again, and I tend to be more like I love improvising. That is my I really love doing that in life and in music. Like I am fly by the pants.
Jazz
MacGyver. But I love improvising, and so like I kind of went towards jazz because like, oh, there's a lot more stuff that you just kind of you have to kind of just wing it, and not everybody is suited for that, which is totally fine. But like for jazz, you kind of just have to, especially with being like a freelance musician as well, you just kind of have to, like, schedules are always changing. Schedules are like, what's going on? So you kind of have to have a mentality of, okay, well, what I planned right now is probably not what's going to end up, but you're just like, okay, whatever, let's just go with this. And that's kind of how jazzes. Like, okay, I started out this way. Somewhere along the line, I probably messed up, probably forgot a bridge, probably forgot something. And so, well, gonna make it up. Here we go, you know. And so you just,
best gig ever. And that's what it
and
is.
you just have to, like,
jazz, when we talk about jazz musicians improvise, you improvise in every sense of the word. You know, like sometimes if you're at a jam session, you won't know who shows up, what instrumentation. It's like you're playing a song. I mean, I remember some of the jam sessions I went to, like in New York, when I just came, you know, fresh out of jazz school, and they're like, you know, doing whatever. It's like 12-bar blues or something like that. And then there's 7 other pianists that are sitting in on the so it's like, whoa, so this is going to go on for an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. Just one song.
Exactly.
You know, it's
exactly.
Sometimes you get that. Sometimes you get like 20 saxophone players on the tune.
A lot of times. A lot of times you get 20 saxophone
for better or for worse, there's a lot of improvisation.
Which is great. Like, it's...
But if you have that personality type, too, which... you know, kind of enjoys the chaos in a little bit. Yeah. You know, like, and I think that's fun, personally. I think it's fun. Some of my favorite gigs are the ones where it's like, oh, you know, we got to change this all last minute. Like, let's just pull it together. I don't know. There's something that's fun about that.
There was one tour recently that just the cast kept changing like every week because just like everybody, and that was really interesting. It was fun for me because like, oh, cool, like the set changes and like this is kind of fun. Like who's new friends, like old friends, like, oh, hey, what's up? But that's not usually like that on PMJ tour. Usually, but like it is fun like when the shows and stuff because you never know with the show. Like you never know what happens with the show. Sometimes something just goes wrong, or sometimes something just goes differently than you were expecting, or like someone doesn't come in right away, or someone's like delayed, or something like
Casey takes his pants off.
Casey takes his pants. Casey does or Tim like jumps off the stage into like a crowd full of people, like anything. And so you just kind of have to be like, okay, or just. Oh, or there was, oh my God, the first time Mickey did Creep that I saw.
Oh, yeah.
So I was laughing so hard because it just came out of left field. Because she just came, pulled a chair up, had her slippers on, and just went. And it was really funny. Oh my gosh, she was great. She's so good at it. But like, we weren't expecting that.
She was like talking to the audience.
Yeah. She's like, commenting.
What am I doing here? She's like talking to people like, you, what are you, I don't know.
She's talking to them. She's talking to Jesse. She's commenting on the lyrics as she's doing it. But like that's stuff like that, which is great about shows and stuff, because like every individual person, especially in PMJ, brings their own background and their own twist to it, and so you don't you never know really what to expect, because some people are more like they will change up stuff a little more, and some people will stick to their guns, and it's fine. But like you just never know. You don't know how the audience is going to react. You don't know how the stage is going to be. You don't know how the sound is going to be. Like you ideally, hopefully you do, but like something will always change.
Well, that was that's a challenge always for me in terms of because I like to maintain that jazz element of like, okay, people are coming out in and out of tour, you know, we're switching songs up, we're calling audibles last minute. Like, I love that spirit, you know. So then it was tricky for me when we made the jump to bigger venues, like, and they're like, hey, we need to know what the set list is because we have lighting cues, and it's like, okay, well, like, all right, so there's something we have to decide ahead of time, you know, and then it's with all things, I mean, you know, it's a lot easier to do a show that is, okay, we're doing the same set list every night, you know. So I think I try to strike a balance between those things, because I don't want it just to be chaos. But even you know, but at the same time, I want to have that jazz spirit, which is, you know, it was kind of an interesting dilemma for me, because you know, when PMJ started, I never really thought we would be playing these big. Yeah, well, you didn't know where it was going to go. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like especially with this big of a thing, like you kind of have to have I mean, even in improvisation, you have to have some sort of structure, like you have to bounce off from. Totally, and it's kind of nice when the shows can blend the two, because once we get familiar with the show, we can get more comfortable, like as the tour goes on, and then like little elements can start to change, like not by much, but like your horn choreography. Yes, exactly. If you ever see her during I know My Heart Will Go On, that's one of them. My Heart Will Go On, and I Will Survive. So you look up any video with Chloe, and she's doing like all this. It's really elaborate. She's doing like
It's just me and the horn player just, trying to act out the lyrics of the song in the back. Just trying to add an extra little element to the
I was always,
to
the
song.
first time I saw that, I was like, okay, Chloe's definitely behind this. Like, she definitely came up with this.
Yeah.
But the other horn player is always into it.
Yes,
which
and
is
I
amazing.
love it. Oh my gosh,
And it's a lot of horn players, but I don't expect to be into it, too.
And I love it. Every single trombone player that I've been paired up with has been amazing and very, very patient with my with my choreography, the choreography in very big quotes. And I just love it when they are down and or we get comfortable because because how every show starts is every show is a new set, so we all have to get kind of familiar with each other and familiar with the song. With the song list and the song order and stuff. But once we get familiar, oh, now I know the lyrics. What can we do?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not trying to distract too much, but some of them are funny songs, the crazy songs.
It's like an Easter egg, for the audience. It's
exactly.
like if you happen to be looking over here, it's like this is what's happening in Horntown.
Exactly. Exactly. Because a lot of times, obviously the person singing is going to be the front center, but if your eye starts to roam, it's fun to have little stuff happening every once in a while in the corner. We're
that's always been our thing, and a lot of showbiz people don't really understand why we do that. To be honest, it's funny. We done some events. I talked in my book about how we played Kennedy Center. We got to do that for the very first time, and we brought Tambourine Guy, and they're like, "What's going on? Why is he doing?" And then they're like, "Hey, how about we're gonna put him here?" And he's like, "There's no lights on that part of the stage." And they're like, "Yeah, we know." So then they put him in the dark. You can't even see him. He's just not even lit up. But it was they just didn't. It's a weird concept. To have all this chaos going around the song.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of fun. I mean, and he adds such a great element to it. Well, so I have a fun story about him.
Okay.
So we were at Tanglewood. And Tanglewood, if you don't know what that is, it's this beautiful venue outside of Boston. I don't know how, outside of Boston, just gorgeous in this little lush green area. And the stage itself is there's a theater with seats on the side and in the back, but then the back opens up and you can sit on the lawn and watch. It's usually the Boston Symphony play. And we were lucky enough to be able to play there. And but my favorite part was when Tim, the tambourine guy, just I forgot, it was the ending, but he manages to go to the sit-down lawn area, get everybody to stand up and do his tambourine, so and gets everybody to dance in sync, and it's just we're watching, and no one else in the sit-down audience is doing it, but everybody else in the lawn is just having the time of their lives, and they're just dancing all together because he's literally conducting this giant mass of people to just jump up and down and pretend that they're playing a tambourine, and it was so great. And it was such a fun element, and we still, because we were still doing our little stuff on stage, but the sit down audience was a little more subdued in the front, and so he just went to the back. That was obviously going to let's do this, and it was great.
Awesome.
It was so great.
Yeah, he's so good at that, just finding he always will pull people up on stage.
Yeah.
And the first time we played Copenhagen, and he came out in the middle of the song, and security dragged him off stage. They thought he just rushed the stage. We're like, no, he's supposed to be there.
He's this
and they're like,
really? Are we sure? Are we sure about this?
Amazing.
That's so funny.
Well, so I mean, you have you're so young and you're so talented and everything you can really go in any direction. Do you have thoughts of what avenues you want to pursue? I mean, do you want to get into education? Do you want to get into songwriting? Do you want to get into what is it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you're just taking one day at a time, improvising.
I think improvising.
Jazz
MacGyver. I don't my main goal as a kid doing music was to tour, and I've done that.
Yeah,
I've done that very much. And so I don't really have many others. I would love to play in front of a symphony once. That's cool. Something I haven't done, and I think I would really love to do that. But besides that, I'm just kind of doing it one day at a time. And I know a lot of musicians do have pretty I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But I just kind of putz in through the, just okay, I'll just see what, whatever adventure comes.
See what develops.
Just kind of winging it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's wing another song. Let's Let's see.
Up.
Let's
5.
maybe
No.
let's do something to contrast. What have we done? We've done a ballad.
We've done a ballad. We did Bourbon Street, and we did like in the middle. So maybe
maybe
like,
maybe we flip something like a song. That we
Oh.
just do. Something that we haven't done.
Yes.
And maybe do a spontaneous jazz version of something.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh. Any ideas? What are some of your karaoke go-tos?
Oh, I haven't really, like the last time I did karaoke, they had Cheek to Cheek, so I cheated. And
Okay,
did Cheek
that
to
doesn't
Cheek.
count. That is not a karaoke song. We could do that song though.
Oh, we could do that song.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a while, but yeah.
Do it like kind of like up tempo. Yeah, maybe like there. That'd be good.
What key is it usually?
Kind of doing a G there.
Let's do it in B flat.
B flat. Okay. Let's see. Let me think of this bridge. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does it go from there? It's been a second.
Gosh.
This is winging it. This is it right here.
This is so good. Yeah.
I'll be okay. I'll get through it somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. We got through it. That was a rough one. Wow. That was like, I was like, oh, what are the changes on this part? And then I put there was the bridge. There's like a weird it's like kind of bridge.
Yeah, it's like a 3-part. It's not really like it's a 3-part song. Yeah,
it's a wild song.
Yeah, I know. I haven't played it in a minute. I'm like, oh, that is the song. Yeah.
But you sound amazing on that. That's awesome. So where can the people find you? The good people of the internet.
Oh, and the people on the internet. Well, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay, it's Chloe Feoranzo.
Yeah, Chloe Feoranzo. Feoranzo. Good old Italian last name right there.
It's in the post.
It's in the post. And copy paste is probably a lot easier. And then my Instagram and Twitter handles are ChloeJazz3.
ChloeJazz3.
Yeah, and that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, well, I'm so glad. I can't wait. She's going to be in a new Postmodern Jukebox video. We're working on it.
So excited.
As we speak.
Yes.
And we're going to be filming it tomorrow, so maybe we'll send some spoilers out. Not spoilers, but like pictures.
Like a little hint.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Bye, everybody.